Imagine standing in front of a huge mirror where you see yourself and your surroundings. You see your reflection and everything around you perfectly well. Everything is fine. Your reflection in the mirror looks good. You see the place you're in clearly. Now, heartbreaks are when this mirror shatters into a million sharp pieces. Some pieces are big, others are small. All are sharp and all will hit you as hard as possible. They will wound you when they hit you. Some will hit you now, some will hit you later. The main idea is that the mirror is now but a sharp, harmful object that will hit you painfully a million times. It can get shattered instantly and with no warning, or a few cracks here and there can eventually destroy it. But it's not only that, things are worse. Listen to me. You can no longer see yourself or your surroundings. And if you do, it's a reflection that is not only not clear but also deceiving. The way you see yourself and the world will get a hard hit, regardless of how independent you are. And a million pieces will hit you a million times, in a different million places. The details hurt, the scents, the music, the places, the voice, the photos, the random memories, the phone calls, the hugs, the flowers, and the tears. Funny how you're left now with only the tears. I will just talk about 2 points, but these 2 points are important. They are less talked about, even though they are where the real healing happens. Yes. This is especially true if you might as well meet someone who finds your scars a work of art. You cannot fully recover from a breakup and get over someone. Okay, so we're going to discuss those 2 points quickly. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, especially useful for people for you to listen to something long as you're in pain. Cheating. The first thing you need to do is that you need to take off your rose-eyed glasses. The breakup went well, not because someone hurt the other person. Dating materials. But it can apply to any type of relationship. Self-trust is crucial. Stuff that will make the interaction is one of the first steps, though it may sound cliche. Only in romantic relationships, but also in all life's areas. Remember the mirror concept? Or not. Losing confidence in your own judgment after breakups. We are biased because the chemicals that are running through our minds are blinding to some extent. We are biased because we believe there is something good about this relationship and this person. Why do we not pay attention? We want to maintain that false image we have in our minds about playing naive, instead of confronting, accepting, and challenging it. Manipulator as well. Keep this in mind. I do not mean that you should go out there and beat people to death for their mistakes. We all make mistakes and come short every now and then. There is something fishy in the air. Address what bothers you. Called gut feeling kicks in new relationships. Conscience takes overuse compassion to the point of enabling someone else to act delinquent towards you. You have to pay attention and pay attention to actions, not to words the other person has. You need to know which case is true or was true for your partner. How do you deal with both situations? You're not ready for a relationship yet? It's okay, but keep on developing this skill, this examination to know whether something is wrong with that kind of behavior in general. Then a dose of communication. About developing a set of skills to handle fishy situations. Note that I'm talking about your ability to handle fishy and toxic situations in the future. And you need to. And do not ignore the red flags. Do not rationalize them. If your conscience, maybe it will have a valuable opinion about what you should do. Maybe that is what you should do immediately. It is painful to ignore the red flags even though you are aware of it. If it happens again, you remember it. You have known it all the time but have chosen to ignore them. It could be a courageous thing to do that, or it could be out of naivety. But it is painful to fight the toxic behavior experience. Mine was a mix of courage and naivety. Toxic behavior is not about you at all. You need to realize that you don't always have to question yourself because of their actions. Toxic this quote that I find fascinating. It goes, if you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. What if we don't even have to question ourselves for everything? Usually with the good intentions to set things right, wounds the other person has. Actually looking down on ourselves. Imagine this. You were in a fight with someone, or that it must be because we misbehaved in some way or another. But that's not always the truest conclusion we can draw. What if it has nothing to do with us, that are not bleeding and make them hurt again? So you can figure out where the wound is and heal it. It makes sense to think this way. Figure out what you did wrong. The blood you're seeing is not yours. Such a meaningless pursuit. And maybe this is the flaw you have to work on. Being harsh on yourself. You would exaggerate the blood flow of some of your wounds. I fully confess that I did hurt some people and mistreated them just because I was already hurting because of something that had nothing to do with them at all. So think about it. You need to trust yourself more. Remind yourself that maybe the blood you're seeing is not yours. They hurt you because they are hurting. Hurt people. But with this mindset, you will feel stronger and more understanding. About you, you do not have to question yourself because it's about themselves and the world. Do not take it personally. Do not let it get to your heart, yourself, and the world. You do not take it personally. It should not mean they can get away with anything just because they feel bad. Because balance between the wisdom that comes with empathy. This does not mean that you should not stand up for yourself. Setting boundaries. Watch out who's bleeding. It does not always have to be you. It does not always have to be about you. Have a great day.